Welcome to the week 4 instructor tutorial video, which is going to be a demo of project 4. I've already downloaded what I needed for project 4 off of the course site, which is the project 4 instructions PDF, also your example rate sheet PDF, and your budgeting template, which is going to be in a zip folder. So I'm going to unzip that, and I'm just going to double click on this to open it in Movie Magic Budgeting. So let me go back to the instructions and we will start from the beginning. So what you'll need, along with the 3 things that I just showed you, are your production documents from projects 2 and 3, specifically in Adobe Story, your shooting schedule, which looks like this. And you'll refer to your schedule notes for how many extras you might need or how many days you will need each character when you budget for them in your budget. Okay, if you've completed all of this week's read and view activities and you've already installed Entertainment Partners Movie Magic Budgeting, then you are ready to start this assignment. So I've already opened the budget template in Movie Magic Budgeting. Keep in mind when you have something open in Movie Magic Budgeting, this is just my zip folder, so I'm going to get rid of that. But it will create a temporary .lock file only when your budget is open here. So as soon as I close this, this file will go away. But don't make the mistake of accidentally turning in this file and not your actual budget. Okay, so make sure you close Movie Magic Budgeting, rename this file, and zip that one and turn it in, and not this lock file on accident. Okay, so we want to rename this last name, first name, budget. So I can go to File, Save As. I'm just going to find the folder that I was using before. Last name, first name, budget. And we're ready to move on. All right. There's a couple of rules for your budget here that you need to follow. And the first is your target budget for this short film. Remember, again, we'll be working with the same short film that you've been working on for the last 2 projects, the Memory Garden. So your target budget is $150,000. It's okay to go a few $1,000s over or under budget, but it's not okay to go $100,000 over or under budget. If that's the case, you might want to double check your work because you're probably doing something wrong. Okay. When you're budgeting, you need to budget for the number of shoot days you scheduled for, which is 5 according to the schedule assignment. Plus any prep or wrap days listed on the example rate sheet. So if I show you the example rate sheet real quick, you can see here there's a prep days column and a wrap days column. So say you're doing budgeting for your principal players and you've got 2 prep days listed. So you would budget for 2 prep days plus however many days you'll need that principal player, how many scenes they're in, okay? But for the rest of your staff, you see here my unit production manager has 5 prep days, 1 wrap day, and we'll need him or her all 5 days of the shoot. So everybody else, you can pretty much, anybody that's not talent, cast, or characters, you can budget for 5 shooting days. So this would be 5 prep days plus 5 shooting days plus 1 wrap day. So that'd be 11 days total. Make sure you're budgeting for all of those days for everybody. Also, you can use the daily and or the weekly rates that are listed on the example rate sheet. Weekly rates will save you money. Keep that in mind. Some of them don't have daily and weekly rates. So you see, here's your daily rate column and weekly rate column. Some line items only have daily rates, but use the weekly rate if you can. So our example here of 11 days total. Keep in mind that 1 week is 5 working days. So we could budget this person for 2 weeks plus 1 extra day to save money. We can combine those daily and weekly rates. Okay. If you see that an item only has a total or allow listed, let me try to find one. Oh, here, that was easy. Okay, so like the writer fee, the copyright producer or director, if they just have a total / allow listed, for your units on your equation on the details level, you'll just use A for allow and type in that number, and that will be the total. This is something that's just budgeted for in a way where maybe we already know the cost. So we don't need to try to figure out how much it's going to cost per day. And like I said before, for a weekly rate, keep in mind that 1 week equals 5 working days. So moving on here, it's time to fill in all the information into Moving Magic Budgeting. So we're going to use the example rate sheet. You don't need to make up any of your own numbers, but do keep in mind that the numbers on the example rate sheet are just for an example. This is not an accurate representation of what things should cost in the real world. So let's take a look at the details level here, and I'll use this as an example just because it's the first one. So I'm at the accounts level with one double click, and with another double click I'm at the details level. So we've got this first column, indicator column, you won't use because we're not adding fringes in this assignment. You could use the description column if you needed descriptive details to help you remember certain things about one of the line items. You've got the amount column, which refers to the units worked. Units will be either days, weeks, or A for allowance. So you could just type D and it'll auto-populate to days. W, it'll go to weeks, or A, and it'll go to allow. Okay? So the amount always refers to the amount of units. So if I have D for days, this is telling me I have 1 day. The rate is pretty self-explanatory. You're going to either use, if you use day, you're going to use the daily rate. And then your subtotal will be auto-calculated. This column is the only tricky one here. And it's always set to 1 unless you change it. So it's basically not a factor unless you make it a factor. When will you use this column? You will use this column if you, say, have 3 electricians that you need for this shoot, and you need them all for the same amount of days, and you need them all at the same rate. Then that's a really easy way just to write 3 here and budget for 3 electricians instead of 1. The alternative would be you could make 3 separate rows, list all 3 electricians, but that's 3 times the amount of work. It's much easier just to say, well, I need 3 of this exact same line item. So you can add that in the multiplier column, and that'll work into your equation here. I'm going to change it back to 1 for now and get rid of this, because those aren't the right numbers for this writer fee. Okay, so let me give you some examples of how to transfer information from the example rate sheet